Hello and welcome back to Alleyway Conversations. Once again, I'm your host, Andrew.
And I am also here. My name's Patrick. You guys don't know me, but we're good friends.
Yes, you've heard us blather on long enough now.
Yeah.
And today we're finally going to do something we've been talking about for a few episodes.
Yeah, I think it's time for an actor spotlight episode.
And today we're going to do Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, like any straight guy on the planet, Andrew really wants to bang Ryan Reynolds.
I'm just saying, if he snuck up behind me and asked, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. I'm aware. But yeah, I think he's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I know the very first thing that you've ever seen him in was Pizza Place. Didn't you say that's where you got to start at?
Yeah, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. It was on ABC, and my mom had a huge crush on him. Weirdly enough, my mom is not a straight man, so that's conflicting. But she really liked him. She thought he was hot, and you know, every girl likes a guy with a sense of humor. So,
out of curiosity, and this is something I'm wondering about, because the first and oldest thing I remember seeing him in was Blade Trinity.
Yeah, that was a thing too.
And from Blade Trinity to, well, basically now, his personality, his attitude, his laughing and joking at all times, regardless of how serious his character is supposed to be, has never really seemed to change. Was he like that in The Pizza Place as well?
Yeah, for the most part, they tried to do some dramatic scenes, but, you know, I don't know, you have that guy that can just, make any situation funny, and, you gotta utilize that.
Is that like, oh crap, I remember the three guys on Full House, the funny uncle, the one who always tried to do voices, kind of like him,
yeah.
he could never seem to do anything serious.
Fun fact, did you know that the Alanis Morissette song, You Oughta Know, was actually written about him?
Wait, what?
Yes, apparently they dated for a short while. And
Wait a minute, I might be thinking the wrong song. I'm thinking of You're So Vain.
Yeah, that wasn't Alanis Morissette. But,
I don't know anything about the song. I just remember Family Guy made the joke. They play that, and then in the background they had a picture of Don Knotts. And now every time I hear that song, I can't help but think of Don Knotts.
That's a strange association.
Hey, Family Guy did it. It's in my brain, and I'm sorry. That song always used to kind of make me mad. You probably think the song is about you. Well, you are singing about me, so...
You wrote it about someone, so...
Yeah, obviously the song is connected to somebody. Why wouldn't I think it's about me? I'm just saying, if you start singing a song like, Andrew, you're an asshole, and you probably think the song is about you. Well, if every other line is talking about me and the things I do, of course I'm going to think that.
Yeah. But no, this is a different song, and it mentions a blowjob in the theater. So now I can't think of Uncle Joey and Alanis Morissette
just plowing away at each other in a theater.
Yep.
Oh, so he can do it and get away with it, but Pee Wee Herman pulls his dick out in the theater and he can't play in TV anymore.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. He just... I don't know. That was like a weird thing that I think in modern days just people would be like, whatever. Yeah, dude's whacking off in a porn theater. That's what you do in a porn theater.
There's a reason why there's plastic on all the furniture.
We love the fact that he does kids programming, but he is still an adult. It'd be way creepier if he acted like he was 12 all the time.
It would be creepier if he did it with kids presents like in the show.
Yeah.
Be glad he was doing it around other adults.
Yeah, like he took measures to make sure that the only people who were around were also creepers. So
yeah. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but
sorry, creeper might be the wrong word. Pervert, because again, the guy made kids programming, and the term creeper has a certain connotation. Nah, Paul Rubin's fine with the kids. He likes his porn.
I'm just saying that might be more accurate, because when was the last time you thought, you know what would make this porno movie better? If I was surrounded by like 50 people in a big open room.
Yeah, it kind of like, maybe it made sense in the pre-internet days, but I feel the same way about like going to the strip club with your buddies. It's like, yo, let's go check out some hot chicks and get boners together. No.
Yeah,
I'd really rather not.
Yeah, that just sounds wrong.
We can go into separate rooms and whack off for a while if you want, man, but...
Right, you know what? Here, take this tablet. There's some tissues. Go into the garage and stay away from my tools.
Yeah, please.
But,
a man has to work.
You know, I'd say we're talking about Ryan Reynolds movies and jacking off, but you know what? You did say earlier...
Yeah,
this might be a bit kind of appropriate, actually.
Yeah. I have a feeling you have used Ryan Reynolds movies as wink material, so...
No, I can't say I have, but at the same time, now that I think about it...
Alright, I am going to leave you alone after this episode.
So, oh man, he's done a lot of very big movies.
Yeah.
I remember, like we talked about, I remember Blade Trinity. That was the first thing I saw him in, but I really loved the original Blade movie.
He was also the only good part of Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
I actually remember when it was first, previews were coming out and stuff. I was really excited about a new Blade movie, obviously. But I was also excited, oh my god, Jessica Alba's in there. Not Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel.
Don't feel bad, I can't remember names either.
But yeah, she was in Seventh Heaven. I had a little bit of a crush on her in that. And, yeah, I watched Seventh Heaven as a kid. What of it?
Hey, I used to watch Clarissa's Secret Window.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah.
I watched that too.
Hey, I thought she was really hot growing up when she eventually did, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Loved it.
That was fun.
But, she was only 3 or 4 years older than me, I think. I'm not really sure. She was hot. That's all that matters.
I think she was a fair bit older than you, but it's at
I was becoming a teenager when I watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh.
Forgive me.
I was really young when I first started watching it, so...
There you go.
Of course, I was back in the day when, I couldn't possibly miss TGIF. Kids today will never know, what it's like when you have a block of a bunch of sitcoms that you like all in a row. You have this big block of sitcoms all in a row, you like them all, and it's also Friday night and you don't have to go to school tomorrow, so you're excited.
Well, nobody remembers what it was like to, oh my god, we have to get home, it's Tuesday night, our favorite show's on at 7 o'clock, hurry up, get home, make dinner, so we can sit down and watch the show. No, nowadays, if it's on live TV, record it and watch it later, and watch it as many times as you want. Or, hey, you want to watch this tonight?
Yeah, and of course it's probably streaming, so, you can watch it as soon as it comes out, or you can watch it a few hours later. No one cares.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked Blade Trinity. Triple H was in that, wasn't he?
I think so.
But
there was a wrestler in that, I remember.
The only thing I remember about the Blade Trinity movie, well, I watched it a lot, because, again, I really loved the Blade movies growing up. They were one of my favorite movies, and I just remember Wesley Snipes, and, I heard that they might bring Blade back into the Marvel Universe here soon, and I'm wondering who they're going to get to play Blade.
I don't know. I can't really think of any modern actor right now that could really fill in for that. And of course, you can't get Wesley Snipes anymore. I know. I'm bummed about it too.
What? Why can't we? Is he super old and fat or something?
Well, it's just he's not wanting to do that sort of thing. He doesn't want to... It's kind of like with Harrison Ford. Ask him a question about Star Wars. Any question about Star Wars. It'll usually end with him just being like, I don't know, I'm an actor.
Okay.
He has been dealing with this for 30 plus years, and he is so done.
Kind of makes me surprised they got him to play in the new trilogy, the first one.
Well, I feel like it's definitely one of those things... they would have to get him to do it. Who else could be Han Solo?
I think he told him no for a long time. I want to say I heard that he told him no for a long time. And finally, when they got him to agree, he's like, all right, look, I'll come back. But by God, you better kill me because I am not coming back for a sequel. So they're like, okay, fine, we'll kill you.
Supposedly, I cannot remember his name, but the guy who played Grant in Jurassic Park, he was...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the same way. Like, he did not want to do any more Jurassic Park movies.
So they're like, haha, joke's on you, it's Jurassic World.
Well, no, they just, like, he, like, really upped his salary for that, like, way past, like, he knew that they would say no.
But they didn't, because they wanted the original cast to meet the new cast.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, I won't do it unless I get, like, a fuck ton of money. Oh, did you say a fuck ton? You're from New Zealand. Is that a metric fuck ton, or...
So, you see, we have a dump truck in your front yard full of Benjamins right now. Where should we dump it?
We have hired Jeff Goldblum to throw money in your face for the next 24 hours.
Tell us
Will that be enough?
So,
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Probably the most famous thing he's been in has got to be Deadpool.
Definitely, and once more, he has that inborn talent for making any kind of situation funny.
Which I think it applies to Deadpool beautifully.
Yeah, like, he was casted perfectly. It also helps that Ryan Reynolds himself is a big fan of Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
He actually really rallied to get that hard R rating on Deadpool.
Well, not just that, but how much he had to fight just to get the movie made surprises me. With all the Marvel movies that were coming out and being huge successes, they ran the test pilot, and I don't know how many of our listeners watched. I remember when Deadpool was trying to get made. So they filmed where he jumps off of the freeway into the car, and that like 5-minute fight scene where he's shooting all the SUVs and killing everybody. That was the test pilot scene. Like the best scene in the very first movie, the greatest one.
Well, and
that's what they test filmed, and producers went, "Nah, this looks stupid. Nobody will want to watch that."
Well,
fucking excuse me?
Well, and that is the thing. Like, that was... there are a lot of movies that have that sort of footage. That was actually how Pirates of the Caribbean came about. They filmed some action sequences without, the producer's knowledge, and then showed it to him, and he's like, okay, that's kind of cool. Let's check it out.
Well, they originally said no on Deadpool, so I don't know who did it. I don't know if Ryan Reynolds got somebody to leak that test footage, or if somebody at the studio was just like, no, this is amazing, it needs to be done, and leaked it themselves. But for like 6 months, that was like the #1 clip on YouTube. I couldn't go anywhere without seeing it, and everybody is demanding we get this Deadpool
It was
movie.
On all the news feeds. I know it was on mine constantly.
And even then, it took the producers like 6 months for them to be like, okay, I guess we'll make the Deadpool movie. And even then, once they started making it, they kept stealing the budget from it. Did you know the very last scene in the movie where they're in the shipyard and there's supposed to be this massive battle and Deadpool goes, oh crap, I forgot the guns in the car, and so there's like a punch out instead? That was supposed to be a massive gunfight just like that. But right before they filmed that scene, the executive producers swooped in, stole like $40,000 of their budget. Basically, the entire budget for that scene, and they go, well, crap. Well, we can't do that now.
Yeah.
And that's why we have that scene. Still, Ryan Reynolds does it perfectly. He works with what he has and produces... He shits gold, I'm sorry.
Well, and he's actually credited as a producer as well, I believe, because some of the stuff he actually paid out of pocket.
Because otherwise it wouldn't have gotten done.
Like, he actually had either a Betty White or a B. Arthur t-shirt. It was B.
Arthur.
It was B. Arthur, which makes sense, because Deadpool has a thing for B. Arthur. But, he actually paid for, like, the copyright rights for that so that he could wear it in the in the movie just because he really, like, that's kind of a big thing for the Deadpool comics. He loves B. Arthur.
I think, I heard that story. I think he called B. Arthur's family, because at this point she had already passed away, and said, would it be okay for me to wear this? And they're like, you know what? Donate. I think they only asked for like $1,000 or $2,000. Like, donate it to B. Arthur's, either like her favorite charity, or she has some sort of like scholarship or something. Like, donate the money to that. You'll have our full blessing. And he did, and he did it out of his own pocket instead of using the film budget.
Yeah, because the film had no budget, as it turns out.
And it's still one of the best Marvel movies they ever did.
Oh, absolutely. That was the thing. When Deadpool was made, I had a rule against comic book movies. It's not that I thought they were bad. It's just that I was a big fan of the comics, and I just thought, I'm just going to get angry at it. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to be that guy walking out of the theaters during the Star Trek reboot being like, well, in episode 34 of the next story... Shut up. Shut up. So nobody likes you. Nobody wants to be around you.
So you would be comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah, it just... I didn't want to go into nerd rage over things that people are enjoying. So I shut off from it, but when it came down to Deadpool, I figured, like, I have read Deadpool, I did like Deadpool, but I also figure that was the whole thing about Deadpool, is that you don't take it seriously. And so if they fluff up the plot a little bit, I don't know, I guess that's fine. If Rob Liefeld doesn't care, I don't care either.
But Ryan Reynolds cared a lot.
Yes, he did.
And it shows.
This is what happens when you work on a project that you love. Ryan Reynolds was a huge fan of Deadpool, and he made sure it was done perfect.
Oh, God. Well, and after the film was made for Deadpool 2, I think the original budget for, like, the first Deadpool movie was... Oh, God, it was less than, like, $10 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but a lot of big movies out there, like Lord of the Rings, they spent, what, like $30 million on something like that? And it made an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah, every now and then I get a little bit, like, upset about the fact now my scripts have been made into films, and then I look at some of the budgets of movies, and I'm just like... You know what? I can understand not wanting to take a risk on this.
Yeah. And then Deadpool 2, when it was coming out, they gave Ryan Reynolds basically what he wanted, and they ended up giving him like 4 or 5 times the budget the original Deadpool movie had. He had a massive budget.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell that if for no other reason than simply from... the armored car transport scene and the fact that Juggernaut is how he is in that.
Oh, God.
I still wish they had gotten Vinnie Jones to reprise his act in that. I would have loved that, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's ever a film, like, dude, I would love to put Vinnie Jones in literally anything. Like, he could be in a Julia Roberts movie, and I'd be like, oh, sick, Vinnie Jones, I'm in.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Put him in the new Longest Yard.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Vinnie Jones, the football star, playing American football.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Vinnie Jones. You can basically be as violent in tackling as you want now, and nobody will card you for it.
Yeah, everybody's wearing pads. It's cool. Throw each other around. Nobody cares.
Yeah. So, I loved him in Deadpool. His most infamous movie, on the other hand.
He also played Deadpool, to be fair.
Oh, true. Oh, man, that is a good... That's a good thing. Between X-Men Origins Deadpool and Green Lantern, which one do you think he's most hated for?
Personally, I hated him. I hated X-Men Origins more, just because I was actually a Deadpool fan, and to be fair, I never really liked Green Lantern much.
And also, what is Deadpool's nickname? What is the thing he is most known for?
Chimichangas.
Well, no. His nickname is the Merc with a Mouth.
Yeah.
What is the one thing they did in X-Men Origins? They sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember, like, I think they mentioned, like, his name's Wade Wilson. I'm like, oh, Deadpool, cool.
And they never called him that.
And then they got Ryan Reynolds to play him, and I'm like, oh, sick, he's really funny. This'll be great. And then I saw the final product, and I'm like, oh, eat a dick.
So you were kind of afraid that the original Deadpool movie was going to be kind of like that.
Oh, no. Because I'd seen trailers, I'd seen, again, that infamous YouTube video that was all over the place for a while. Yeah. And I knew that it was definitely at least going to be better than that.
Yeah. And we actually watched Green Lantern. Not only did we watch Green Lantern, we watched the extended cut.
Yeah, because I want only the best for my princess.
Are we talking about the listeners?
Yeah, totally.
Are you my frog then?
I mean, do you want me to be your frog? I do have the voice for it.
So, Green Lantern!
Right, Green Lantern. I'd never seen it before, because like I said, I was never a big Green Lantern fan. It's not necessarily that I hated him, I just, like, checked a few things out, and I'm just like, maybe not.
You know, and honestly, and this is me, I don't really know a lot about Green Lantern outside of what was in, the old 80s and 90s Justice League cartoons, because I wasn't big into comic books growing up. My dad never would have bought them for me anyway.
Fair enough.
But I honestly don't believe it deserves all the negative connotations getting.
I watched it for the first time, and yeah, the CG does suck.
Very bad, yeah.
Oh, like, you wouldn't believe. Like, you have to watch this in order to really understand how hard the CG sucks.
CGI technicians watch this movie in school and they go, this is how you not do it.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, it is just awful. But at the same time, it was made in, like, 2011?
Yes.
So it's been over a decade. Most of the CG that was made back then isn't very good looking by today's standards anyway.
True. But in all honesty, all the acting and all the people they got to film in it was great.
Yeah, I had no complaints with, like, the storyline or the casting. Like, everybody was decent at acting. The villain was really good.
We're talking about the human, not the giant cloud of smoke, right?
Yeah. And Sinestro was really, really cool. I forget the big guy's name. Parallax, yeah. He actually was kind of scary if you can forgive the CG, which again is god-awful.
Yeah.
It really does look like an OG Xbox launch game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I will say, in all things that happened, I'm actually really glad that movie flopped. Not because I didn't like it, but if it had done well...
Yeah, then he'd be forever known as the Green Lantern.
And DC would have him. And if that was the case, we would not have the Deadpool movies. And as much as I like the Green Lantern movie, I would forever rather have Deadpool than Green Lantern any day.
Yeah, totally.
So, thank you DC for deciding not to make more and giving him up so Marvel could take him and make the guy that shits gold.
Yeah,
or at least grow baby legs with a tiny penis.
It's kind of like I remember, and this is probably just a rumor or speculation, but I remember at one point they were going to cast Jason Momoa as Kraven the Hunter, who's a Spider-Man villain. And I think it's fitting. I think it works, but
he's in DC right now.
I like him better as Aquaman. So.
Well, I mean, I don't see why he couldn't do both. I mean, one's Marvel, one's DC. But at the same time, I feel like once one of them gets your hooks in you, they will do everything in their power to make sure you don't go to the dark side, probably considering, who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if DC bought out, not DC, if Disney bought out both DC and Marvel, and then it shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, heck, Disney owns half of all video franchise and stuff anyway, but
yeah, I know.
I liked it.
Give it time. They'll own Whataburger within a few years.
Right. I remember growing up, Van Wilder He was in that. I remember that.
Yeah, National Lampoon. Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
It also had the guy from Harold and Kumar. I can never remember his name, but I think he's really funny. I hope he's doing well for himself, because I haven't heard a whole lot from him.
And then there's that one chick that made her entire career out of pretending to be a 22-year-old, even though she's, like, what, in her 50s now?
Which one?
What's her name? Tara something?
Oh, yeah, Tara Reid.
Yeah, she was in Sharknado and all this. She makes a career out of being 23 when, by God, she is not 23.
Definitely not.
Because I remember she was in that, and it was a fun movie, you know, I was at the right age to watch it, just like...
that came out when we were like, what, 14, 15?
I don't know, but it kind of reminds me of the somebody's day off.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
It to me, Ferris Bueller and Van Wilder seemed very, very similar.
Oh, dude, that'd be an epic crossover. Except where would they meet up? Like, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is set in Chicago, and Van Wilder, was it ever stated where they're from?
I'm assuming, like, California-ish. Yeah. It seemed warm.
It definitely...
But he's in college. We could literally go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, where else would they have colleges? Freaking everywhere.
Yeah. Heck, our state has a college.
Could be...
Has multiple colleges.
Could be Boston. Boston's the biggest college town in the world, really.
Full of drunken idiots.
Yeah. People who are surrounded by Ivy League colleges just insist on being stupid.
Seems appropriate. Another movie we watched. So Patrick had never seen Deadpool 2. So last weekend I decided, we need to watch that.
Did I tell you about that? I was like working with a waitress, and I was like, oh yeah, Deadpool 2. I was going to watch that, and then something came up. I don't remember what. And she's like, yeah, I watched it. It's really good that it's more family friendly now. Like, Deadpool is not family friendly.
No.
Like, I don't know what her deal was, because I watched it over the weekend, and it is not family friendly. Don't take your kids to this.
Hey, he didn't murder the fat 13-year-old boy. That's about as family friendly as he got.
What was it? Fire Fist? I don't know if that's an actual superhero. I'm full disclosure.
I'm just saying, Fire Fist. That sounds like something a gay guy does down in Mexico over a weekend.
Ew.
I'm just imagining a fist soaked with habanero sauce or something. I don't want to go any further. Please stop me.
Yeah. Hey, let's not. He's from New Zealand.
And, who's from New Zealand?
Fire Fist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And,
the kid or
the kid?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the kid.
So we watched Deadpool 2, and while we were there, we're like, you know what? Let's make this a Ryan Reynolds weekend. And I showed you Free Guy.
Yeah, I did watch Free Guy for the first time. I really liked it.
I did. I mean, computer-generated worlds, the fact that he's a living AI, I thought that was really cool. And he's changing the world.
And again, back onto his talent, that really I feel like there's only so many people that can do that. Being calm and funny in any situation actually worked out, because that's what NPCs do. They just...
Yeah. They had some really good supporting characters. Mm-hmm. And
they had
even though he was supposed to be the main guy...
They had Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
Are you talking about the programmer guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, who? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Now that you're mentioning it, yeah, that is the same guy.
Yeah, that's Steve Harrington, dude. That's why I kept making the joke, like, in any universe, he has fabulous hair.
I had no idea what the fuck you were going on about.
Yeah, no.
And I watched Stranger Things. I liked it.
Oh, yeah. Stranger Things was great, man. Our roommate, Chance, got me into it. And, yeah, I'm surprised that I didn't get into it earlier, because, like, Winona Ryder, horror.
80s
kind of has
D&D.
A Stephen King vibe to it.
Oh, yeah. The only thing it doesn't have going for it is it's not happening in Maine.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I'm surprised I wasn't into it sooner. But yeah, he was like, you should watch Stranger Things. And I'm like, that's a way to kill a weekend. And it was incredible. It blew my goddamn mind. And yeah, Steve Harrington's in Free Guy. Kind of proving, because like in Stranger Things, he's like a really confident, suave guy. And it works because he actually looks like how I'd imagine a really handsome guy in the 80s would look. Mm-hmm. In this movie, he is a nerdy programmer who's scared to talk to a girl that he likes. And he still pulls it off.
I also feel that, because I too am a nerdy guy afraid to talk to women. But that's for a whole other set of reasons.
Yeah, fun fact, you're not quite as charming as Steve Harrington.
I don't have the hair, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I really don't have the hair, so...
At least you're not Antoine.
Who's Antoine?
The main bad guy?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm...
Just the name alone makes him sound like a dick.
Well, I'm not Australian, so...
Look at me. I have, like, ice blue hair dyed tips, and I dress like a fucking Naruto cosplayer or something.
Yeah, he really was just, like, the most obnoxious guy at any Comic-Con.
Yeah. So, Detective Pikachu?
Yeah, that was a thing that I was really excited about personally. I was talking to my nephew, who was, like, I think 8 at the time, about Detective Pikachu. And he was not a crazy Pokemon fan.
Like we are.
But it's kind of cool how that works out, because we bonded, because a lot of the things that were cool when we were kids are still cool with kids today. So we talk about like Transformers and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. And yeah, he was not looking forward to Detective Pikachu, but I feel like he doesn't understand. Like, this is actually an American take on Pokemon, and I thought it was done really, really well, and I thought it was really, really cool.
You have no idea how long I have waited to see a Charmander with a Chulio bandana being gangsta.
Cholo?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell, I am very white.
He is the whitest.
I'll have you know, when I was in college, all the people called me the whitest white boy we have ever met.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a compliment, but by God, I stuck to that nickname.
Yeah.
But I loved the movie, the way they did it. I really enjoyed it.
It actually does, like, and Pokemon kind of did that in the games, but it's kind of cool to see, like, Pokemon interacting in an urban environment. I thought that was neat.
Oh, yeah. It just goes to show you, because basically every game out there portrays, oh, what does a trainer do? Okay, that's great. What do average, everyday Pokemon people do? Like, I get nurses have a Chansey because they're really great at healing, and they're the natural nurse Pokemon. Okay, that makes sense. What about the gardener down the road? Oh, they have, I could see the... the florist have a Roselia because they're a rose Pokemon. Who better to take care of your rose bushes?
Yeah.
They obviously know what needs to happen. Do you have a bug problem? Get Victory Bell or something. You know, the Venus Flytrap Pokemon.
Yeah. Put that little homie in your garden. He'll have plenty to eat.
Are you an arsonist? Buy a Magmar.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, they actually... I think it actually is pointed out that, like, you can, like, get Pokemon to commit crimes for you if they like you enough. So there's that.
Are you a Somali pirate? Get a Gyarados!
Oh my God, it would be so easy to seize ships with a giant sea monster, right?
There you go!
So, yeah, they actually, and they really do, like, do a very Western, very practical take on Pokemon. I thought that was cool. I hope they make more.
Oh, it would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I saw a video game idea just today on TikTok. They're like, hey, what if in the next game that comes out, instead of being a Pokemon trainer, what if you were hired by the mayor of a town to be the next gym leader? Because we saw in some of the Pokemon games, just because you're a gym leader, you're also kind of the town sheriff as well. Because you're the one who teaches people how to use Pokemon, which means you have to be a great trainer yourself. So you should have really strong Pokemon. So, oh look, there's a gang coming by to take over the town. Wipe the floor with them.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what gym leaders do. That's actually been a constant thing in the anime. Was like gym leaders come in and save the day from all kinds of nasty people.
Right. Well, heck, I remember in this is going to be a look back, but I remember back in high school I had Pokemon Leaf Green for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that was fun.
And I remember trying to take down the Team Rocket hideout, and Lorelei from the Elite Four was in there trying to help you.
Yeah.
In fact, if you didn't take down the Elite Four first, you could still get to the Elite Four, but you couldn't fight them because, oh, Lorelei isn't back yet. You'll have to wait.
Oh.
Yeah, she's still off fighting Team Rocket, and you could not face the Elite Four until that particular side quest was done.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I always went for it, but yeah, they like really did well on the whole final boss situation in at least the first Pokemon, just because like they really made it like every single time you fight like a gym leader or something, they're like, you're no match for the Elite Four. They're intense, yo.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, and then you get there and they really are intense.
And then you're like, I remember the first time being like 8 years old and finally defeating Lance, the Dragon Tamer. And I've probably been fighting the Elite Four for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I finally got past it. I'm just like, oh, thank God I won. Oh, by the way, you need to fight Gary now. Fucking what now?
Oh, yeah.
I have a Pokemon with like 10 health and no moves left. What the fuck you mean I got another trial to do?
Oh, yeah. That actually was a meme way back in the day. It was like Gary motherfucking Oak.
Yeah, back before memes were a thing.
Well, I mean, it was still, like, memes were still a thing. It was just not a...
Internet thing.
No, it was an internet thing. It just wasn't, like, what we think of when, you see, like, a weird random image with the impact font and stuff like that.
Yeah, memes have evolved a long ways.
It's been a long time since all I wanted was a Pepsi.
Yeah. So, just a couple other Ryan Reynolds movies I want to throw out there. Red Notice.
Never seen it myself.
So it kind of reminded me of Uncharted.
Neat.
Ryan Reynolds is like a bounty hunter of some kind, and he's hunting down this woman because she stole something, and he actually comes across The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And he works with him to hunt her down, and then at the end of the movie, you find out that actually Dwayne Johnson and this woman are actually married and have been playing Ryan Reynolds this whole time.
Oh, wow.
They make off with the Nazi treasure in Hitler's Studebaker, whatever car he had. I don't remember what he had.
Probably a Volkswagen.
Yeah, whatever it was he used to ride around in, they find in a cave. They drive through a mine shaft. It's littered with Nazi gold.
Yeah.
And, it kind of reminded me of Uncharted a little bit. And, good movie. It was interesting.
To think of it, Ryan Reynolds would play a really accurate Nathan Drake.
I'm just saying, if Tom Holland if they decided to make it a more adult version of Tom Holland, get Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, totally.
Hitman's Bodyguard.
Keep Mark, though.
Yeah. Hitman's Bodyguard. Again, a movie I loved because it had Ryan Reynolds with Samuel L. Jackson.
Interesting enough, but I still didn't actually watch it, so...
And that's fine. It's a lot of good stuff. I think it's on Netflix. No. Red Notice is on Netflix. We'll have to check on Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah, I couldn't really say.
Yeah, great movie. Like I said, Samuel L. Jackson motherfuckering it up with Ryan Reynolds. It's as hilarious as you think it'd be.
I mean, I'm totally down for Sam Jackson, and obviously I wouldn't have went on this episode if I wasn't at least a little into Ryan Reynolds. But,
you are a straight white male, after all.
Mm-hmm. But, it's, I'd be down for it. I don't know why I didn't, other than maybe other things got in the way.
It came out a few years ago. Now the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is out.
Huh.
And because Samuel Jackson plays...
Cool.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson plays the Hitman. And guess who his wife is?
I'm guessing Ryan Reynolds.
No, he's the bodyguard.
Damn.
But if I remember correctly, it's actually Selma Hayek.
Oh, nice.
And still as sexy as ever. I'm sorry, if there was ever a Latino woman, I was going to go after her and Catherine Zeta-Jones. God, they're some of the sexiest women alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got a thing for Chicanas anyway, so.
I'm just saying, I can't watch Zorro and not stare at Catherine Zeta-Jones with my tongue lolling to the ground. She was amazing in that movie.
Just to point out, there's also Aubrey Plaza, who I really like Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, but I didn't find Aubrey Plaza till like 5 years ago in Parks and Rec, and I loved her.
Fair enough, and you've actually grown up like getting a boner for Catherine Zeta-Jones. So
true. There's just a lot of stuff. I mean, there's also Evie from The Mummy. I loved her to death. I loved The Mummy. That's just one of my favorite Brendan Fraser movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Brendan Fraser. Holy crap.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do an episode on him.
Oh, I love that guy. Yeah,
he's amazing.
Like Monkey Bone was really cool. George of the Jungle.
Yeah. He was one of the comedians from my childhood. Yeah. He did a Journey to the Center of the Earth movie.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay.
It certainly did exist. Obviously, it wasn't accurate to the novel, but it was alright.
I have a question for you. The kid he played with. Mm-hmm. Wow, that could have came out wrong if I'm not careful. He was in a couple of movies. Has he been in anything since he, I don't know, hit puberty?
I'm sorry, it's a problem with child stars. They're like used up until they're no longer cute, and then they're thrown out. And that's why Macaulay Culkin is the way he is today.
You were coked up and we were choked up, but now Macaulay Culkin's home. Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, he seems to be doing well for himself nowadays.
He's doing better.
He had a really rough time there for a while, and frankly, Macaulay Culkin, I wasn't even old enough to have any influence on any of that back in the day, but I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. Adam Project. Another movie. I actually liked it. Ryan Reynolds goes back in time to his 13-year-old self.
Dope. And
then they both go further back in time, and they meet their dad again, which is the Hulk. And all I'm bringing up is Lou Ferrigno.
Mark Ruffalo?
Yes, their father's played by Mark Ruffalo. And it's a good movie. He's married to this really nice woman, and then come to find out that people are being sent back in time to wipe out anybody that has knowledge of time travel, except for this one woman. So in her time, she is like the god of time travel, and everybody does what she says because that's how it's always been. And then his wife turns and looks at Ryan Reynolds and goes, "Is it? Or is that just what you remember because the timeline's been altered?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Memento situation.
What?
Was it Memento?
I don't know.
It was like Bruce Willis, and he went back to the... I forget.
I mean, I remember Time Cop with Vin Diesel, or Van Damme, I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's a Vin Diesel movie as a time-traveling cop? Sweet.
Yeah, I'd be down for it, but...
Also, and only because we haven't talked to him about this episode yet, Tim Curry.
Oh, yeah. So, there's actually a thing. It is a rumor on the internet, and hopefully has some basis in fact, that there will be a Clue reboot, remake, and Ryan Reynolds is going to be in it.
I mean, I loved the original. I loved the board game. That's why I originally watched it.
Yeah.
Found out it had Tim Curry in it, and of course, as always, absolutely wonderful in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Have no
Every
fault.
time. Martin Mull was great, but yeah, they're planning on remaking that again. It is rumored.
Yeah, all I've heard is that somebody's currently working on a script. We don't know anything else. Ooh, and
Ryan Reynolds has been given a nod, but
don't.
That's all we know.
We are not God. We cannot see the future. I'm sorry. I am not the Simpsons writers. I cannot tell the future.
Yeah.
Yet. Ooh,
Give it time. We will figure out something and get Ryan Reynolds as Colonel Mustard. It'll be great.
He will murder them with a candlestick in the conservatory.
Yes.
And there was...
Tim Curry will just miraculously walk onto the set and just have a really quick cameo, and they'll just be like, oh, sick, dude.
Yeah, he could literally just do an Alfred Hitchcock in his movies and just walk by the screen for like 2 seconds. That's all I want. That's all I need.
Hello.
Just give me a Tim Curry boner.
Yeah, just hello.
And walk
That
off.
was Tim Curry. Holy shit.
Did you ever watch the Goosebumps movie?
The one with Jack Black?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it.
So I would love to have a cameo like that, like at the very end of the movie where he's walking by, and then you see in the back a guy walk back, and he goes, hello, hello, and you're like, oh, who's that? Oh, that's Mr. Black, the new music teacher, because he's playing R.L. Stine, the writer, and R.L. Stine is playing Jack Black, the music teacher.
Oh my god, from School of Rock, which now I kind of want a shot-for-shot remake, but with R.L. Stine as Jack Black's character. I forgot his name.
There you go. So, a lot of good stuff is coming out. Deadpool 3 is rumored to come out in 2024, and I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I mean...
I heard they got Wolverine to come back and play in it.
So far it's been...
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. So far it has been like Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy have been the only 2 comic book movies that have not only met my expectations, but surpassed them.
What about Aquaman?
Aquaman was cool. I liked it.
I
had fun.
You weren't a huge DC comic book fan, were you?
Oh, I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I actually did feel like Aquaman constantly got the raw end of the shaft there. So I thought the fact the Aquaman movie was actually really good was a big plus. You
know what the one thing that would make that movie... If they did an Aquaman 2, you know what would be the most badass thing ever?
Yeah.
If they do the version of Aquaman where he has to cut off his hand and get a harpoon.
Oh my god, because
Jason Momoa with a harpoon hand.
Well, because Jason Momoa actually kind of looks like that era of Aquaman anyway. So it would be super rad. But I don't think DC's ever going to do that because they're really big on this whole New 52 thing.
Good point.
But yeah.
One thing I would like to do to finish off this episode, we had a great weekend in Joplin. This last weekend.
Yeah. I thought we were going to make an episode on that alone.
Well, I wanted to give a shout out to a little shop we met down there. It was called Peace of Mind, right?
Yes.
And normally we don't have stories. If we go to a big city to go do shopping or something, it's go there, get what we need to come for, maybe grab lunch and come home. We're guys. We don't spend time lollygagging while shopping. That's just not what we do. I
went to my favorite sushi bar that I worked in, but it was also during the lunch rush, so I didn't really get to hang out and party with the workers like I would like to.
Yeah.
But
we went there. We need to do some clothes shopping. It's wintertime. It's unseasonably cold right now. It surprised me.
Well, I mean, it's also November in Missouri.
True, but I'm just thinking, hey, I mean, literally last week it was 65, 70 degrees outside, and then we step out Monday morning and all of a sudden it's 20.
Yeah, winter just
showed
up out of nowhere.
Yeah. So we go up there, we hear there's a great deal on flannels for like $5 a piece. Damn, we look good in flannel.
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure we'd have to arm wrestle with New England to see who's the bigger flannel lover here in the Midwest. We love flannel.
Yeah. So we're over there, and we look next door, and Patrick sees what band was it?
It was Grateful Dead, and my uncle was a huge Deadhead. A lot of my mom's side of the family are certified and authentic tree-hugging dirt worshippers. So I saw the Deadhead logo, and I was like, friend.
Yeah, and we end up going over there. It's this little place in a little shopping mall. So it was called Peace of Mind, and it's a head shop.
Yeah.
And every head
I
shop...
wouldn't necessarily call it a head shop.
They had a back room full of bongs.
Oh, I didn't see the back room.
Yes. Oh. It just wall-to-wall water pipes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to call them water pipes, by the way.
Hey, weed's legal now. Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it passed.
Yeah, we got recreational use in Missouri.
Call it whatever you want now.
We can watch all the Pee-wee's Playhouse.
So, we go in, and in every head shop I've ever been in, the first thing that hits me like a freight train, the smell.
Oh, yeah, that weird incensey smell.
I love it. I love that smell.
But it doesn't smell like any particular incense.
It's just all the incense mixed, which is a shame, because if you were to mix all the incense, that's the smell you'd get, and I love that smell. But I've never found that smell. They need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, they need to get, hippie shop scented incense.
Yes. So we go in there, and, honestly, and names are my Achilles heel. Do you happen to remember that guy's name?
Oh, dear.
I know, I feel bad. He was a great guy.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. We, spent...
an hour just shooting the breeze with him.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I felt really bad when I first met him, because every time I go into a really small shop, and I'm always looking at the guys, I'm like, oh man, it's a small shop, we're probably not going to buy anything. And I always feel really guilty because it's, there was no one else there, and I'm like, man, if I don't buy something, I'm going to feel guilty, and I hate that. But at the same time, we did end up spending a lot of money in there because he had some great band t-shirts. And
yeah, I was tempted to get... I was torn between the CCR t-shirt and a warmer winter weather hat. And I have a new hat.
And I have an AC/DC shirt and a Monty Python's Flying Circus t-shirt.
Because you just have to, you can't just look at you and be like, that's a dweeb. You have to make it even more obvious.
Damn, Skippy, if I'm not wearing a Monty Python Flying Circus, how will people know I really enjoy old British comedy? And really weird comedy and animations. I swear to God, I look at that animation, and while the show is great and kooky and wacky, okay, somebody definitely smoked weed and wrote this. I watch the animations and I go, someone was on fucking acid mixed with LSD.
I honestly, I feel the same way about any of the My Python animations. I see that and I'm like, friend.
Oh, God. But yeah, we sat there, we talked with him for at least an hour, and great guy. We talked about video games, movies, basically what we do here. And he, great guy. And the thing that he said that stuck with me more than anything was, he goes, man, I love talking like this. It's amazing how people... we used to talk like this back in the 90s, and now people are bringing it back again. And my first thought was, oh my God, we never
stopped doing that.
Yeah, I think we're a little behind the times, Patrick. We never stopped.
Yeah, we kind of ahead of the curve.
Also, by going so past the curve, we just circumnavigated the globe and came right back to where we started.
Yeah.
We never left. One of us.
Sweet jacket. Where'd you get that? The 90s?
Well, you gotta tell them the story to make that sense.
Yeah, okay, so I've had a denim jacket that I've had since high school. It's got the Dead Kennedys logo sewn on the back of it. It's got, my sharp badge. We'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But, so I'm sitting at a bar, like, actually, I think this was sometime last year. I'm sitting at a bar having a beer. I think I was waiting for a show to start. And some kid in his, like, 20s pops up to me. And he's like, hey, is this seat taken? No, it's not like I'm waiting on a date or anything. Have fun. And he sits down next to me, and we start, having a normal-ass conversation. It's nothing particularly special. I think the guy was really into
denim.
Well, yeah, but he was starting to get into Alice in Chains, and I'm like, oh, you're precious.
Oh, man, I remember that back in high school. Man in the Box.
But, yeah. And he just randomly, like, I go to the bathroom, I come back, and he's looking at the sleeve of my jacket, which I've draped over the chair I'm sitting in. And he's like, hey, really cool shirt. Really cool, like, retro jacket. Where'd you get that? I'm like, the 90s when I bought it.
Yeah, it's amazing how cool things become when you own them for 30 years.
Yeah, it just kind of like,
I've always had it?
Yeah, I've had it for a very long time, and now it's retro, and now I feel crazy old.
Right. Well, I really wanted to talk about peace of mind, because the guy doesn't know it yet, but he bought an advertisement from us, apparently, because he gave us, like, a $5 discount on all of our shirts and stuff. He was really cool, had a great time talking with him.
Yeah, totally. I might have been a little bit militant about this back in the day, but yeah, he's got a little bit of ad space for $5 from me. I'll sell out for that.
Hey, I'm just saying, he's got some great band tees. I'd hate to see him go, because honestly, I personally am a big believer in small business. It really makes because if every store is a Walmart...
Well, I mean, my dad owned a small business, and that was kind of what got me out of telemarketing, but that's a story for another day.
But yeah, I mean, if every store is a Walmart, I mean, they're not going to let you stand around and talk to a customer for an hour. Get back to work. That's what I love about those small places. It's their business. And when it's a small business like that, they do it because they want to. They love to do it.
Oh, yeah, the dude you can kind of tell I feel like he kind of handpicked all the t-shirts, like himself.
Beautiful.
Because anytime we'd mention something, he'd be like, oh, you like CCR? Man, let me tell you.
He definitely did this out of love.
Oh, yeah. And that was kind of the whole thing about small businesses in general. Like, I don't know, my dad has small business. We should really save this for maybe next week?
Yeah. I've always wanted to do an episode where we talked about how we basically got to where we are today. So, if you guys want to go through our episodes, we'll talk a little bit here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, I consider myself a storyteller, and there's a lot of stories to tell between us. We've seen a lot in our, well, I would say relatively young age, but now we're in our 30s, so...
I mean, granted, with the long life expectancy of nowadays, 30's not even middle age anymore, which sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Remember the good old days when you were lucky to die at 25?
Yeah. I remember because my mom is at a certain age, a lady never tells. And she actually said, well, if I'm a senior citizen, then you are middle-aged. And I'm like, really? I don't necessarily feel middle-aged. I feel old, but that's only because I was really into, like, 80s hardcore and grunge when everyone else was into emo.
True. So, you know what? I think that's a good place to end it today.
Yeah, wow, we really went on a tangent. That's exactly why I think we should do this next week, is just...
Oh, yeah. Well, we love talking, and as our listeners know at this point, there's no telling where we're going to end up. And that's kind of fun, is getting along through a journey.
Yeah, we started talking about Ryan Reynolds, and then we ended up going over all kinds of weird stuff. I think we mentioned Pokemon and Pee-wee's Playhouse and
jerking off in public pornographic theaters.
Yeah, that was a thing too.
Yeah.
I'm judging you a little bit, but not enough to where,
Hey, I've never been to one.
Well,
I'm sorry, I have a very shy penis. It doesn't want to be out in public.
Well, we have shared quite enough this week.
That's right. And that is all for this episode of Alleyway Conversations. Once again, I've been your host, David.
And that is the way things are.
Knick-knack, paddywhack.
And that is the rest of the story.
Alright, everybody. We will see you next time.
Have fun.